Hey, what's up everyone? So I'm going to do a tarot reading on myself right now. Okay, so as you can see, here are my tarot cards. And let's get started. I am just asking, when will I be making a full-time living from my Magical Meadows YouTube channel? Answer that question for me, Source, and all of my spirit guides. I bless these tarot cards with pure Source energy and pure love and light. Oh, okay. 9 of Cups. And I will be making a full-time living from my Magical Meadows YouTube channel for sure someday. But according to this tarot reading, I will be making a full-time living from my Magical Meadows YouTube channel in 9 months. I read the I don't really read the tarot cards as seasons. I read wands as oh, let me turn this around. I read wands as days, just days, not weeks. Some people read wands as weeks. I don't get that. I do not read the tarot cards as seasons. I read wands as days. I read swords as either weeks or days or hours or even minutes. So I basically read the timing of the tarot cards the same way that Behati Life does on YouTube. She's a YouTuber called Behati Life, and I basically just go by her timing method, but I have only just started practicing and using timing in tarot cards. I've really only started reading tarot cards like 6 months ago anyway, so I don't really have a go-to like set in stone timing method for tarot cards yet. I'm just experimenting with different timing methods right now, and hers makes the most sense to me. That's kind of the way that I was already reading the cards. Like when I first started learning that you can read timing with tarot cards, I kind of just, like when I read about the different timing methods, I automatically immediately just read wands as days, swords as weeks, and I read so I still basically read it that way, but I recently changed to just going by Behati Life's timing method. So I now currently read wands as days. I read swords as weeks or days. Swords, I have seen swords actually be days before in a reading I did about when a psychic would call me. I was trying to predict when this psychic would call me, and I got the 5 of Wands for about 2 weeks, and then I asked again when this psychic would call me, and I got the 2 of Swords, and then she called me like the next day. So kind of weird how timing can change in a psychic reading, but yeah, that's what I got. So in that instance, this 2 of Swords was not 2 weeks, it was within 2 days. I should have gotten a One of Swords because that would have been way more accurate because she called me the next day. But somehow I got the Two of Swords. So I guess you could say that when you get, so that makes me think that when you get a card and you're trying to predict the timing of something, that makes me think that it's not necessarily going to be exactly that time. Like, it's not necessarily going to be exactly 2 days when the psychic would call me. In that instance, it was within 2 days. So not exactly 2 days, but it was within 2 days. So that's kind of how I'm thinking that I will do my timing for my tarot cards. And then I also read, and then I read swords as weeks or days or hours or minutes, as I said. And then I read cups as months, and I read pentacles as years. And I do not read the seasons. And if I get a major arcana card, then I take that as meaning that you need to practice the message of that card first before the energy will speed up enough for you to get a clear timing on when something will happen. But if I get like a minor arcana card, like a Knight of Wands or a Knight of Swords or a Knight of Cups, then I read that. Like, I look up the date. Like, there's different dates that correspond to all those other cards. And there's also, I think, dates that correspond to... Wait, are there dates that correspond to the minor arcanas? Like the Knights and Pages? I thought there were. Well, I know, I think what I meant is there are dates that correspond to the major arcana cards. Like, for instance, if you get the Queen of Wands and you look up timing Queen of Wands in Google, there's like different charts out there that have different dates that correspond to like a card, like the major arcana cards, like the Queen of Wands. So I think the Queen of Wands, if you pulled the Queen of Wands for a timing card, if you pulled the Queen of Wands for timing, I think the date that the Queen of Wands corresponds to is like sometime in the spring. Like, I want to say March or something like that. So if you asked when will something happen and then you get the Queen of Wands, I'm pretty sure that means that that thing will happen during whatever dates you get in like the charts on Google that you'll Google when you look up Queen of Wands timing. So if you got the Queen of Wands and you asked when will this thing happen and you got the Queen of Wands, it would be happening, that thing would be happening in March or during whatever time frame the chart says. But I got the Nine of Cups as my answer to when I will be making a full-time living from my Magical Meadows YouTube channel. So that tells me that I will be making my full-time living from my Magical Meadows YouTube channel in 9 months. But see, because the guy is smiling, I don't think the message of the card actually applies to when you're just asking about timing, but intuitively, in this instance, I feel that the message of this card applies to this reading of mine, in the way that, in the fact that because he's smiling, that makes me intuitively feel that that means that I will definitely be making a full-time living from YouTube someday. You know, even if the timing changes, it's definitely going to happen because this is the wish card and he's smiling. And, you know, the wish card is all about your wishes and dreams and aspirations coming true. So I'm definitely going to make a full-time living from YouTube someday. But right now, with the energy that I currently have going on, it's the tarot cards are telling me that I will be making a full-time living from YouTube in 9 months. So I'm gonna put that card back in the deck. I mean, I really wanted to be making a full-time living from YouTube a lot sooner than 9 months, but because I know that there are people that has happened to, and I was, you know, optimistically hoping that I could be one of those people that is able to make a full-time living from YouTube in like just a, you know, well, a few months faster than that. But it does seem realistic, I guess. So, and it's not that much time. And I mean, I love my job that I currently have right now. I'm a security officer at Allied Universal Security Services. So, yeah. I love being a security officer at my job. I just do want to make a full-time living from YouTube someday, really soon. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Bye.